Hey everyone, welcome back to Cinematic Revelation. Today, we're diving into a film that has captured attention for its unique take on survival, morality, and the human psyche, *Platform 2019 star. In this review, we'll break down the film's hidden clues, complex themes, psychological elements, and its sharp cinematography. But before we jump in, make sure you're subscribed to the channel and hit that notification bell so you don't miss my next review, where I'll be dissecting Platform 2, the sequel that promises to build on the tension and drama of the first film. The story kicks off with our protagonist entering a mysterious building referred to as the Hole. It's a vertical prison where two inmates live on each level, and the levels are numbered from top to bottom. In the center of each cell is a large hole, connecting every floor. Once a day, a platform loaded with food descends from the top, stopping for exactly 1 minute at each level. In that time, the inmates can eat as much as they want, but they can't hoard anything. Naturally, those on the upper levels get to enjoy the best of the feast, while the lower levels are left with scraps, or worse, nothing at all.
¿Cuántos niveles hay?
No lo sé, pero sí que hay más de 132.
¿Y cuánta comida llega a ese nivel?
Nada.
And here's the twist. Each month, the inmates' positions change at random. This setup is a brutal commentary on social inequality. It symbolizes how we don't choose the circumstances we're born into, whether rich or poor, privileged or oppressed. Just as some people inherit wealth or live in affluent regions without any effort, the prisoner's placement in the pit is purely luck. One hidden detail you might have missed. The prison has exactly 333 floors, with 2 prisoners per floor, making for a total of 666 prisoners. In numerology, 666 is often associated with the devil, and this number is no coincidence. The movie is literally telling us that this prison is hell. Now, let's talk about Imagiri, Goring's cellmate who enters the pit with her dog named Ramses. Ramses was a powerful and revered pharaoh in ancient Egypt, known for uniting and bringing prosperity to his people. Imagiri's belief that the system would naturally encourage unity between the prisoners is shattered when her dog is killed, symbolizing the death of any hope for togetherness. Her name, Miharu, carries 2 meanings in Japanese: to open someone's eyes and to protect. When Goring meets her, he undergoes a transformation, realizing the true injustice of the system. Miharu's relentless search for her daughter represents the struggles of marginalized groups, immigrants in particular, who are often overlooked and disbelieved by society. The system dehumanizes them to the point where even their truth is ignored, much like how no one believes there's a child in the prison. And now we come to Trimagesi, the grizzled and ruthless old man. He's the kind of person who justifies his heinous actions by blaming the system. When he forces Goring to cannibalize, he excuses himself by saying, "The system made me do it." This character represents those who perpetuate the cycle of corruption and inequality, exploiting the system for their own benefit while ignoring the suffering of others. There's a telling moment when Trimagesi urinates on the food meant for the lower levels, showing the literal disdain of the privileged toward the underprivileged.
A no volver a robarme la palabra, obvio.
But here's a question. Why would anyone voluntarily enter this prison? Each character is promised a reward upon surviving their time, whether it's Goring's diploma, Trimagayai's freedom, or Imagiri's cancer treatment. But as we see, these promises are hollow. The prison mirrors the false hope of capitalism, where we're told that if we just work hard enough, we'll achieve the life of our dreams. But for most, this is a lie, designed to keep us grinding while the wealthy stack up more riches. Goring's journey is a pivotal one. He enters the prison with a copy of Don Quixote. If you're unfamiliar with the book, it's often said that if there's one novel everyone must read before they die, it's Don Quixote. But why Don Quixote? In the story, the protagonist is a man so consumed by tales of chivalry and virtue that he loses touch with reality, embarking on a foolish quest to restore these long-lost values in a corrupt world. Similarly, Goring, much like Don Quixote, sets out on an idealistic mission to bring fairness and morality to the prison. But his approach is flawed, almost naive. Now, let's talk about that shocking ending. What's the deal with the child? Was she real or just a figment of Goring's imagination? There are several theories. Some believe the child is real, with Miharu protecting her by saving food for her each month. Others argue that the child is a hallucination, born from Goring's guilt and desperation after Miharu dies. The child, notably clean despite being in the depths of the prison, seems too perfect to exist in such a nightmarish setting. And let's not forget that when the panna cotta is sent up, the platform moves without heating or cooling the floor, a clue that we might be witnessing a reality-bending moment. This, to some, confirms that the child doesn't exist and is instead Goring's way of coping with his failure. Don Quixote dies at the end of his story, and with his death, the era of chivalry and heroism comes to an end. Similarly, with Goring's death, the fight for justice and solidarity also ends, making the film's conclusion seem deeply bleak and tragic. Let me give you another solid reason. One of the reasons we struggle to understand this movie at first is that we think the events are unfolding in a linear fashion, when in reality, the narrative is non-linear. Midway through the film, we see the head chef getting furious and yelling at his subordinates. Why? Because he found a hair in the panna cotta. Yes, you heard that right, in the panna cotta. In fact, Goring and Bahara managed to send the panna cotta up to level 0 as a message to those at the top. However, since the people at the top have no understanding of the lower classes, they assume that no one ate the panna cotta because of the hair. So, all that sacrifice to send a message goes to waste. This is a heavy critique of class divisions. Not only do those at the top enjoy more comfort, but they are also completely disconnected from the struggles of those below.
¡Los de arriba! ¡Cabrones! ¡Vamos! ¡Sé que estáis ahí! ¡Responded!
Without a doubt, the director wanted to convey this message. Otherwise, they could have found hair in any other dish. The fact that the panna cotta was untouched but with a hair reached the top means there was no child to eat it. So, we can be sure that the child was merely a figment of the imagination. Physically speaking, even if a child existed, they would have been crushed by the speed of the platform's ascent. But with all the information we've given you so far, you're probably shocked, right? Well, hang tight, the real revelation is yet to come. It's about to blow your mind. Toward the end of the movie, there's a quote from Don Quixote that essentially says, "Wealth doesn't bring happiness, but spending it wisely does." Here, spending wisely could mean sharing. Now, let's flash back to the key statement by Imagiri, who said the purpose of this prison was to test the spontaneous sense of solidarity among people. Another flashback brings us to the interview scene when Goring was asked what his favorite food is, and later, we see his dish on the prison's daily menu. Now, keep these 3 points in mind for the final twist. In reality, everyone's favorite dish was on the daily menu, and that's the reason they asked. If everyone only ate their favorite meal, all the prisoners could have survived, and there would have been no issues at all. As simple as that. The platform isn't just about class divides, it's a deep critique of human greed that prevents true solidarity from ever being achieved. As the director mentioned in an interview, the film is less about criticizing society as a whole and more about criticizing each one of us individually.
Nadie había pedido jamás que pida. ¿A quién pidió todo? Pistola, ballesta, navajas, linterna, palo de gorro.
Hope you enjoyed this breakdown. If you liked this video, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to catch our latest content. And here's a fun question. If you were in Goring's shoes, what would you have brought with you into the hole? Let us know in the comments.